Good evening and welcome to the Somerville Redevelopment Authority meeting of June 11th, 2024. My name is Phil Ercolini. I'm chair of the Somerville Redevelopment Authority, and I call this meeting to order at 5:32 p.m. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this public meeting of the SRA is being conducted via remote participation. This session will be recorded and will be a public record. I will now ask the board members to confirm they are in attendance in an alphabetical order. Awana Bonney.
Here.
And Ewan Campen is attending a budget hearing this evening. William Gage.
Here.
Patrick McCormick is not here right now. Christine Stone.
Here.
And Phil Ercolini are here. We do have a quorum, so I'll now ask city staff to present a few of the house rules about using the technology.
Yep, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Ben Demers and I am a senior planner at the city and I serve as staff to the Somerville Redevelopment Authority, or the SRA. When an agenda item is being presented this evening, any presentation materials that staff have received ahead of time will be displayed on the screen. If city staff or other participants wish to direct the board's attention to a specific page, they should verbally note which page staff should show on the screen and should then verbally explain to the board what is being shown. Please also note that this meeting is being conducted remotely using Zoom webinar. And in order to comply with open meeting law under state guidance, which does not allow for what is called side conversation, the chat function amongst attendees has been disabled. If you, as an attendee, have a question or would like to make a comment on the matters discussed tonight, please use the raise hand function to indicate that you would like to speak. I will then unmute participants one by one and give you 2 minutes to speak. When it is your turn, please clearly state your name and address before saying anything else, and these will be required for the record. After 2 minutes, your microphone will then be muted. Please remember that any questions asked by attendees this evening will be a part of the open record. And I'll now pass things to the SRA Special Counsel, Catherine Lester-Selkert.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Catherine Lester-Selkert, and I serve as Special Counsel to the SRA. Just want to remind all board members that all votes must be roll call votes since the meeting is being conducted online. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you, Catherine. So we'll get right into the agenda items. And item number 1 is approval of the May 14th general meeting minutes. Did all members have an opportunity to review those minutes? And if so, are there any edits you'd like to bring forward? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain then a motion to approve the general minutes of May 14th. Bill Gage makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Awana Bonney seconds. We'll do a roll call vote. Awana Bonney.
Yes.
And Ewan Campen is not here this evening. William Gage.
Yes.
Patrick McCormick.
Yes.
And Christine Stone.
I was not at the last meeting, so I think I have to abstain unless you need a quorum.
You don't have to. You can still.
Oh, I don't have.
Vote.
Okay,
Yeah.
then, yes, I read through them. Yes.
Okay, and myself, Phil Ercolini, have voted to approve the general meeting minutes of May 14th. Item number 2 is a public comment period. And Ben, are there any members of the public who'd like to address the SRA at this point?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have 4 attendees this evening. None currently have their hand up, but if we want to just wait a moment.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'm not seeing any hands.
All right, thank you, Ben. So the next item on the agenda is item number 3, the Union Square Revitalization Plan, and we have a presentation from Union Square Station Associates on the implementation of the USRP. And Greg, you're joining us this evening and do the presentation.
Good evening, Chair Ercolini. My name is Greg Karczewski. I'm the president of US2. We're the designated master developer for the Union Square revitalization. Appreciate the chance to be here before you this evening to provide an update to this board about our progress towards the revitalization plan. Our offices, by way of a little note, our offices were at 31 Union Square since 2015, but back at the beginning of April, we moved into our new building. So our marketing center is now at 10 Prospect Street. Still very much in the heart of the neighborhood, but just a different address. So I want to make the board aware of that. I'll start by just, hopefully, can everybody see my screen just as a...
Yes.
Terrific, thank you. So by way of a quick agenda, we'll go through kind of master project and our progress there. We'll talk specifically about the D2 project, which is the first phase near the new Green Line station. Highlight some community benefits work that we've been doing since we were last together, and then certainly have time for any questions the board might have. In terms of a master project update, this graphic is probably familiar to everybody on the board. This is our approved coordinated development special permit. 2.4 million acres in total, 2.4 million square feet, excuse me, in total across 15 acres. The blue areas are commercial development, about 60% of the overall project. And then the orange areas are different forms of residential development. The first phase is, hopefully you can see my cursor, where my cursor is hovering right now around the new Green Line stop. And then this is another image, more of a site plan image showing the same plan. So this is the D2 project. Here's the Green Line station. And then in terms of, where are we focused right now in terms of the implementation of the overall plan? Our highest priority, over the last several years has been the delivery of this first phase, D2, which is, a mixed use project of both life sciences and housing. Represents about 25% of the overall master plan, and we're in completion and occupancy on that project. And then we've been simultaneously moving forward, 2 other sites related to the overall development. The first is the D3.1 site, which is formerly was 50 Webster, where Beacon Sales used to be, a roofing supply warehouse. That's a 280,000 square foot life sciences building. We're currently coordinating with the MBTA for work along there right away. And then we're also in for building permits. So that's intended to be the next constructed phase of the overall project. And then the third piece is the D4.3 affordable housing project, which was the subject of the community benefits agreement. And in an effort to really advance affordable housing more quickly in the development process, we worked closely with the Union Square Neighborhood Council, as well as affordable housing development partners at POA and SEC to envision a largely affordable project of about 48 units on that site. And so we've been working over the last, through the first half of this year, really on advancing a bunch of pre-development activities related to that project, design, some coordination with both the MBTA and the city relative to infrastructure around the site. And then we've begun acquisition conversations. And then lastly, we continue to monitor and assess other sites within the project that we view as next potential developments, whether it's the D1.1 hotel site, the office project that's envisioned across from the plaza, or the life sciences and residential project that's on the D3.2 and 3 site where Royal Hospitality is currently located. And so that's kind of an overview of where our points of emphasis are currently. And now I'll provide a little bit of an overview about the D2 project. And, as you might remember, it consists of 2 main building projects. One is a almost 200,000 square foot rentable square foot lab building, which will house approximately 500 employees. And then a 450 unit apartment building that includes 20% affordable units. And a key piece of this first phase is really connecting the new Green Line station, which opened in March of 2022 to Union Square Plaza, which is obviously the heart of the community. We just had the farmers market fired back up a couple Saturdays ago, one of the many great events that happens in the plaza. And then, we're very proud of the fact that D2 really addresses all the key points of Summer Vision. I won't go through these because I think it's familiar to everybody on the phone, on the call here, but really kind of touches on all the priorities outlined in Summer Vision. Now I'm just going to walk through the components of the project as we're working through getting them finally approved and completed. The first of which is the lab building. And so the base building work is completed. It was completed, or we're anticipating final completion this month. We had 60 conditions to our permit that Ben's been really helpful and the rest of the staff in kind of working through, and we've dwindled that list down to 2 conditions. So we're very close to having those conditions wrapped up, which would finalize all the CO conditions, and then would put us in a position to come before this board and pursue the certificate of final completion, which I know staff has been working on kind of how that process will look, but we're getting very close to starting that process formally. And then additionally, we have 2 floors, the sixth floor and the 5th floor, that are currently under construction for fully fit out lab spaces. And then we're very active in the leasing market, trying to attract tenants into the building. You know, most of that activity is focused on, you know, attracting either early stage companies or middle stage companies into the square. But really the goal of the overall project is to be able to provide spaces for companies across this continuum from very early stage to fully mature. So we're continue to kind of work against that vision. And the first phase is emblematic of that. So the floors 6 and 5 are really start here spaces where new companies can immediately occupy and move in and start doing work. And then we're thinking about the lower 3 floors as more grow spaces. So maybe for a little larger size companies. And then amenities on the ground floor to activate the ground floor, and then an indoor outdoor amenity that we're completing. The outdoor is completed. We're working on the indoor right now on the 7th floor. This is an example of one of the move-in ready lab suites that's being constructed right now this is the 5th floor. It's divided into 2 different suites. So one company would occupy the blue area, which is 60% lab, where my cursor is now with the benches, and 40% office. And then the same configuration on the right here would be another 15,000 square foot roughly suite with lab down below and office up above. And then the 6th floor is actually similar to this, but it's 3 suites of spaces. And here's a couple of progress photos. So really excited to share these with you. This is a rendering. So this is an artist's image on the left. This is actually what was in the space on Friday when I walked and took these photos. So we're getting very close to having those spaces finished. We expect to have them substantially complete this month, and then occupancy available in August. And then here's another image. So that was the lab space, obviously, with the lab benches just coming in. And then this image is the office space. So here's the artist's rendering on the left and the actual constructed image on the right. So that's an update as to where we are on the lab component. Similarly, on the residential component, which is both the tower and the mid-rise portion, which together represent 450 units. The base building is now, complete. There's been a TCO ostensibly issued on all the units in the building, and we're finalizing the remaining couple conditions to our permit, and then we'll be able to come before this board for the certificate of final completion. And then our leasing activity is ongoing both on the retail level, which is the ground level, and then all the residential units above. And so by way of a leasing update, I love this image from the inside of one of the units. You can see the old fire station in the heart of Union Square out the window here, so it grounds you in the location. But in terms of a leasing update, we started leasing back in about a year ago now, and we have 320 units occupied, or 71%, and our total leased is actually closer to 90%, with the rest of those move-ins occurring here over the next couple of months. And then we're really proud of the fact that the affordable occupancies are outpacing the market rate occupancies. So 87 of the 90 affordable units are occupied, or 97%. I think those last 3 should be coming online here quickly. And then on the ground floor, I think we talked about this last time, but at the corner of Bennett Court, I'm going to go back to the image here. It's basically this corner right here, 3,500 square feet. We're going to have Life Alive Cafe, which is a business that started in Lowell and has had a major presence in Central Square in Cambridge for decades now. 3 meal a day, indoor, outdoor activation, going to be a great partner. It has been a great partner, will be a great operator in the square. So we're excited about that coming in the fall. And then the last couple of pieces are really about infrastructure around the site. So the next one is the civic space that we constructed. It's kind of a cool image from up above, the finished space. You know, it's 18,000 feet, larger than what was permitted by about 24%. It was designed by Ground Inc., a female-owned local Union Square design firm. Final closeout is nearly complete. There's just, you know, 3 or 4 more punch list items that the team is completing to finish that space. And here's a recent photo from last Friday of, you know, what was, you know, as you might remember, very narrow sidewalks and, you know, a large kind of, you know, metal recycling and trash area has now become a beautiful plaza with a lot of greenscape. So we're very excited about that and working with local stakeholders like Main Streets and Arts Council to try and figure out how we can continue to program this space and make it more active as we move forward. And then last is really the infrastructure. So around the project, so all the roadways are completed, all the MBTA improvements are completed, all the stormwater improvements are completed. So all that infrastructure work is done. I will mention and show you a photo. This is at the Green Line Station entry. So this is the art that the MBTA is installing. This is this was from Friday, so this photo is really recent. This is a piece of art called Passage by an artist called Matt Trimble. And, you know, it's intended to obviously be a portal or passage to and from the square and all points outside of the square that are accessible via the MBTA. So that'll be a nice terminal view once it's completed for our plaza. And then the last component that I have to present tonight is just really a quick update on some of the aspects of the community benefits program that we're working on. And so I mentioned activating the public spaces. So we had 2 activations since we last met in the plaza. One was an Earth Day activation where we distributed flowers to folks in celebration of Earth Day. And then Bike to Work Week, we had Landry's, a bicycle tune-up company, come into the plaza and offer tune-ups for folks over the course of an afternoon. We're also, you know, very focused on other ways to have the expression of art in the project. So there's a corridor that leads from the public parking to the public plaza. And we've been working with Somerville Arts Council to activate that with a rotating public art exhibit. And we're pretty close to having identified a local partner to help facilitate that. I mentioned earlier about the D4.3 affordable housing project, and we're continuing to advance that. I'm excited to announce that we just completed our 3rd volume of our Scenes from Somerville coloring book. So we partnered with a local artist who put together a coloring book for kids of all ages that highlights businesses throughout the square. And then as part of the CO process, we made our final contributions to the development covenant components. And we've now committed over $1 million of support in CBA payments for the CBA fund. And then lastly, we're supporting Union Square Main Street's initiative called Keep Small Strong. I'm serving on the steering committee. It's really focused on utilizing ARPA funds to pilot kind of a long-term vision for how Main Streets can continue to offer support for small businesses and small business owners in the square. And a culmination of that activities is an event in our space on June 20th that's open to the public from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m., I believe. But the details are definitely at Main Street, or if anyone would like to email me, I'm happy to provide them. And then I'd also mention that since we've reached a point in the project on D2 where it's at final completion, we've organized some tours for various stakeholders in the community. And so we're sending out invitations today, tomorrow via email to invite folks to come out that last week in June on different days to come experience the project, go up in the building, see the views, see some of the finished spaces. So you all should expect to get an invitation in your email box. And I hope you can participate. And that's all I had for this evening, excuse me. Certainly appreciate your time and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Greg, before I open it up to questions, I just want to make a comment. I have to commend you personally for your hands-on approach to this whole development in Union Square. you don't see it that often. And, you know, it really shows in the detail. And again, your involvement with the community and the community groups is so beneficial. So I, you know, commend you for that. Really great job. I'll open it up to any questions from members or comments. Bill?
Thanks, Greg. I wanted to ask about the small park area across from the station. Is that going to be finished by you guys or the city, or? You see what I'm
Hopefully you
talking
can-
about, the future
Yeah.
open space?
This D 2.4 future open space.
Yeah,
So that, and thanks for asking the question, Bill, that and through Chair Galini to board member Gage. This space was originally set aside because the MBTA used it as a staging area for the construction of the Green Line. So with kind of an undetermined future about how long it would, you know, they would need it, we didn't plan anything on that as part of this first phase. Ultimately, it's intended to be an open space. We're actually working on some plans to landscape it and you know, kind of finish it out sooner rather than later, so that it can be utilized by everybody in the neighborhood.
oh, okay, that would be good, because I've noticed it a couple of times when I've taken the train. And I was wondering what was going to happen with that. So thank you for that.
Sure thing.
Any other questions or comments from members? If not, I'd certainly entertain opening up to members of the public who might have been here to hear this progress report. Ben, any members want to address the board or ask questions of Greg?
For you, Mr. Chair, I don't see any hands yet, but if we want to give it a moment.
Yep.
All right, I'm not seeing any hands, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Greg, for that update. Continue the good work.
Mr. Chair, thank you, and thank you for your remarks. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Yes,
Everybody
we
enjoy the
will.
nice weather. Thank
Okay.
you.
The next item on the agenda is 90 Washington Street, the demonstration project plan. There's a request to go into executive session to discuss active litigation. And I will entertain a motion to leave public session, go into executive session, and with the provision that we will re-enter the public session after after completion of the executive session. So is there a motion to go into executive session? Bill Gage makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Alana Bonnie seconds. We'll do roll call vote. Alana Bonnie.
Yes.
Benjamin Campen is not with us this evening. William Gage.
Yes.
Patrick McCormick.
Yes.
Christine Stone.
Yes.
Okay, and Phil Herculini. We have voted to move into executive session. Okay, let's try this out.
I'm assuming I'm in, no?
Can I test audio? Can you hear me? Can somebody say something back?
Can you hear us?
Now I can. Thank you, Kathy.
Mhm.
Hello?
Great. I think everyone is here. It looked like Phil was having a tech issue.
Okay, can you hear me, Ben?
Yep.
Can you hear us all? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
All right, we have re-entered public session. And the next item on the agenda is item number 5, which is the summer scheduling discussion. So I'll open that up to members. Any thoughts on our summer schedule? Ben, I'm going to defer in part to you on, are there any matters that you foresee us to address in public session?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no, not that is going to come up urgently in the next few months. But obviously we always have the option to schedule a special session if needed. So yeah, nothing super urgent from my end.
All right, and Ben, you can continue to send DSRA any information, relative information about any of the other matters before us, correct? We don't have to do that in an open session, Catherine, right?
Right.
Okay.
I guess one thing that might be helpful in open session is if people know that they're going to be away, you know, if there's times to avoid or.
I'm not quite getting it. What do you mean?
So if we were to need a special session,
Oh,
will
special
people
session.
be
Okay.
away? If,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, what are the members think about meeting again in, I don't know. You tell me, July, do we need meetings in July and August, or can we, at this point, resume in September unless there's a call to meet in a special session?
What have we done in, what have we done in like recent past years? Have we skipped July and August or just had one summer meeting?
I thought that we had skipped July and August. I
Yes.
don't remember. I think the year previous, there was something that came up. I think.
Yeah, we had occasional special meetings if needed.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
so maybe we do that again, yeah,
okay,
we restart in September.
all right. Okay, so then the first Tuesday in September is, let's see.
Our special staff member is trying to say something.
Yes. She would like to see us in the summer.
They want to vote, huh? September 10th would then be our next a scheduled meeting, unless we need to meet in executive session. Does that meet with everyone's approval? We don't need to vote on that, do we, Catherine? Okay,
I don't think so.
okay.
No, and I just want to note, so it's you just mentioned Phil, that it's like we can schedule something for executive session, but also like if we just need to have a special session that is an open session, we can still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to clarify.
Sounds good.
Okay, and next item is any items not reasonably anticipated by the chair? Seeing
Through
none?
through you, Mr. Chair, yeah, nothing, but just because the public comment period was earlier and I know adjournment is next, there is a hand up that seems to have been up since since we were in executive session. Do you want to?
Yes, I'd be
All in.
happy to. I think we should entertain it.
All right. So Bill Mahaney, I see your hand up. I'm going to allow you to talk. Is anybody else getting feedback?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, all good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
I see Ted Fields there. My name's Bill Mahaney.
I live in Cobble Hill. And I live in 84 Washington Street, which is right next to 90 Washington Street. I'm on the Civic Advisory Committee with Ted Fields and Matt McLaughlin and Jake Wilson. And we're comparing those three companies, the developers, and evaluating them, Greystar, Onyx Group, and Penrose. And so what came out of your executive session here, we're gonna know sometime before September that pro tanto 8.778 million and the jury verdict of 35.306 million is going to be appealed or not in the Middlesex County Superior Court. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mahaney. Do we need a response, Catherine, on that?
Well, I would just say to Mr. Mahaney, it is on appeal right now. We don't know when it will be heard. As of this point in time, it seems unlikely that we're going to get any sort of a hearing on this matter before September. But we haven't heard from the court one way or another at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Absolutely,
Mahaney,
you're
for
welcome.
that. Ben, no other members of the public?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there are no other hands.
Okay, all right, next I will entertain a motion that we adjourn. Bill makes a motion that we adjourn and Christine seconds. We'll do a roll call vote.
Wait.
I have a
sorry.
question, I'm not seconding the motion.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Ben Demers, you sent something out, I think, here for this meeting in regards to a project or proposal by a developer that was next to the US2 parcels. Was that
Yeah,
something?
so
Yeah. Is that something that falls under the SRA purview, or you were sending that as an FYI?
So through you, Mr. Chair. So in not the meeting materials for this meeting, but for the previous meeting, I had included sort of as an FYI, a development. It was an announcement for a neighborhood meeting to discuss a master plan proposal from Triad Alpha for the D3.2, D3.3 parcels, which are parcels that are included in Union Square directly adjacent to D3.1 or 50 Webster that are included in the Union Square revitalization plan.
Okay.
In terms of the question about the purview, I'll shift that one over to Kathy.
Well, as far as the SRA is concerned, right now, US2 is the master developer and they have the CDSP and they're the only ones that are developing in that area. That it doesn't prohibit any landowner from going to the city and applying for permits. And there are a couple of landowners in Union Square that have been approaching the city in with various proposals, and the city has the ability to listen to those and to let them go through the normal process and see what develops. At some point, the SRA might be called upon to weigh in, but right now there's nothing that needs to be done by the SRA.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? No, then I will entertain again a motion from William Gage to adjourn. Is there a second? Christine seconds. Put your hand up, Christine.
Yes, I second.
And we'll do a roll call vote. Owana Bani?
Yes.
And Ewan Campion is not with us this evening. William Gage?
Yes.
Patrick McCormick?
Yes.
Christine Stone?
Yes.
And myself, Phil Urcolini, have voted to adjourn. All right, guys, we'll see you in September. Enjoy your summer.
Thanks very much.
Summer.
You too.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.